Therāpadāna, The Legends of the Theras. Bhaddāli Chapter the 42nd. For 11. Bhaddāli. The Sambuddha named Sumedha, Chief Compassionate One, the Sage, the world's chief, seclusion lover, came up to the Himalayas, plunged into the Himalayas. Sumedha, leader of the world, the ultimate person, sat down, getting into lotus posture. Sumedha, leader of the world, his meditative state attained. The ultimate person, Buddha, sat there for 7 nights and days, taking a carrying pole load. I too plunged into the forest. There I saw him, the Sambuddha, flood crosser, the undefiled one. After having picked up a broom, I then swept out the hermitage, fixing sticks in the 4 corners. I made him a pavilion then, bringing flowers from a sal tree. I then covered the pavilion. Happy, with pleasure in my heart, I worshipped him, the thus gone one, the one whom they call Sumedha, very wise and intelligent, seated in the monks' assembly, spoke these verses about me. Then, knowing that Buddha would speak, the gods all came together, thinking, the best Buddha, the Eiffel One, will doubtlessly preach the Dhamma. The Sambuddha named Sumedha, sacrificial recipient, seated in the gods' assembly, spoke these verses about me. Then, who for a week did bear for me a sal bloom-covered pavilion. I shall relate details of him. All of you listen to my words. Born as a god or as a man, he will be the color of gold. Being one with abundant wealth, he'll feast on sensual pleasures. Then 60,000 elephants, decked out in all the ornaments, tagas with gold headdresses, clothed in harnessing made of gold, mounted by elephant trainers, with lances and goads in hand, will come to be owned by this man, and attend him evening and morn. Surrounded by those elephants, this man will delight in the world. 60,000 horses as well, decked out in all the ornaments, thoroughbreds of good pedigree, horses from Sind, fast vehicles, mounted by trainers of horses, carrying bows and one-edged swords, will constantly wait on this man. That's the fruit of Buddha Puja. 60,000 chariots too, decked out in all the ornaments, covered in the skins of leopards, and likewise tigers, flags hoisted, mounted by animal trainers, wearing armor with bows in hand, will constantly wait on this man. That's the fruit of Buddha Puja. And 60,000 villages, completely full in all regards, rich in grain and abundant wealth, altogether magnificent, will appear for him all the time. That's the fruit of Buddha Puja. The 4-part army, elephant, horse, chariot, and foot soldier, will constantly wait on this man. That's the fruit of Buddha Puja. For 1800 eons he will delight in the world of gods. 1,000 times he'll be a king who turns the wheel of law. During that time 300 times, he will exercise divine rule, and there will be much local rule, innumerable by counting. After 30,000 eons, arising in Okaka's clan, the one whose name is Gautama, will be the teacher in the world, worthy heir to that one's Dhamma, Dhamma's legitimate offspring, knowing well all the defilements. He'll reach nirvana, undefiled. 30,000 eons ago, I saw the leader of the world. In all the time from then to now, I was seeking the deathless state. The gain for me was well received, that I knew the dispensation. The 3 knowledges are attained. I have done what the Buddha taught. Praise to you, O well-bred person. Praise to you, ultimate person. After having praised your knowledge, I've now attained the deathless state. In whichever womb I'm reborn, whether it's human or divine, I am happy in every place, the fruit of my praising knowledge. This is the final time for me. My last rebirth is proceeding. Like elephants with broken chains, I am living without constraint. My defilements are now burnt up. All new existence is destroyed. Like elephants with broken chains, I am living without constraint. Being in best Buddha's presence was a very good thing for me. The 3 knowledges are attained. I have done what the Buddha taught, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Bhaddali Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Bhaddali Thera is finished. For 12. Ekachattiya. On Kandabhaga river's bank, I had a well-made hermitage. It was strewn with very white sand, and furnished with halls made of leaves. The river there was beautiful, with flat banks and good bathing fords. It was full of fish and turtles. Crocodiles resorted to it. There were bears, peacocks and leopards, Indian cuckoos and mynah birds, always chirping and growling there, beautifying my hermitage. Cuckoos with their lovely voices, and swans with their honey-sweet tones, are always singing their songs there, beautifying my hermitage. Lions, tigers and wild boars too, wolves, more wolves, caravana bears, roar even on bad mountain roads, beautifying my hermitage. Deer and saraba deer, jackals and many hogs as well, cry even on bad mountain roads, beautifying my hermitage. Golden shower and chumpik trees, trumpet flower, Chinese chase trees, hyptage vines and ashoka trees, are blooming in my hermitage. Sage leaf phalangium, jasmine, satali, bimbajalika, kike and dinner plate trees, are blooming in my hermitage. Ironwood, sal and salala, white lotuses in bloom are here, wafting divine fragrances there, beautifying my hermitage. Arjuna and silver greywood, flowering sugarcane is here. Sal and kaga flowers too are beautifying my hermitage. Mango, rose apple, coral bean, tree, neem and salakaliai, wafting divine fragrances are beautifying my hermitage. Ashoka and wood apple trees, blooming bhajanimala here, wafting divine fragrances are beautifying my hermitage. Kadam and banana trees and Isamuga are planted there. They bear fruit continuously, beautifying my hermitage. Myrobalan and gooseberry, mango, rose apple, baera, jujube, marking nut, bell, are fruiting in my hermitage. Near the hermitage there's a pond, with good bathing fords, beautiful, covered with mandalaka blooms, and with pink and blue lotuses. Pink lotuses germinate there, others, flowering, make pollen. Kika trees with fallen leaves are blooming in my hermitage. Sheetfish, also pavusa fish, valaja, reedfish and redfish, are swimming in the clear water, beautifying my hermitage. Shrubs like nayita, ambigandi, and screw pine, suited to water, wafting divine fragrances are beautifying my hermitage. Honey is flowing from the roots, and milk and oil flow from the stems, wafting divine fragrances there, beautifying my hermitage. The sand that's there is beautiful, strewn about beside the water. Young buds are always blossoming, beautifying my hermitage. Those bearing weights of matted hair, who wear deer leather outer robes, dressed in garments made of bark, are beautifying my hermitage. Looking but a plow's length ahead, clever and living peacefully, not looking to indulge in lust, they're living in my hermitage. With nails and armpit hair grown long, muck in their teeth, heads soiled with dirt, all dressed in muddy dirt smeared robes, they're living in my hermitage. 6 special knowledge perfectors, they all can travel in the air. They're rising up into the sky, beautifying my hermitage. Surrounded by those students, I am living in the forest then. I do not know the day from night, always doing meditation. The Buddha in that period was Athodasi, the great sage. Doing away with the darkness, the leader of the world arose. At that time a certain student arrived there at my hermitage, wanting to ask for secret spells. The 6 branches, reading of marks. A Buddha's risen in the world. The great sage named Athodasi, explaining the 4 noble truths. He's declaring the deathless path. Thrilled, my hair on end in delight, hoping to enter the teaching, going out from the hermitage, I spoke these words to my students. A Buddha's risen in the world, bearing the 32 great marks. Come all of you, let us now go. into the great Sambuddha's midst. They all then followed my advice, perfected in the great teaching, seekers of ultimate meaning. They agreed, saying, "Excellent." Those bearing weights of matted hair, wearing deer leather outer robes, searching for ultimate meaning, then departed from the forest. The Buddha in that period was Ekadasi of great fame, explaining the Four Noble Truths. He's declaring the deathless path. Taking a white umbrella, I carried it for the best Buddha. Carrying it for one whole day, I then worshipped the best Buddha. Ekadasi, the blessed one, the world's best one, the bull of men, seated in the monks' assembly, spoke these verses about me then, who bore this umbrella for me, feeling well pleased by his own hands. I shall relate details of him. All of you listen to my words. Whenever this one is reborn, whether as a god or human, umbrellas will be born for him, the fruit of giving umbrellas. For 77 eons, he'll delight in the world of gods. 1,000 times he'll be a king who turns the wheel of law. 77 times as well, he will exercise divine rule, and there will be much local rule, innumerable by counting. 1800 eons from now, Gautama, bull of the Sakyas, doing away with the darkness, will arise, the one with 5 eyes, worthy heir to that one's Dhamma, Dhamma's legitimate offspring, knowing well all the defilements. He'll reach nirvana, undefiled. Since I was that karma doer, bearing the Buddha's umbrella, right up to now I do not know. A white umbrella not carried. This is the final time for me. My last rebirth is proceeding. Today umbrella carrying is happening all of the time. Oh, my karma was well done for. Ekadasi, the neutral one. All defilements are exhausted. Now there will be no more rebirth. My defilements are now burnt up. All new existence is destroyed. Like elephants with broken chains, I am living without constraint. Being in best Buddha's presence was a very good thing for me. The 3 knowledges are attained. I have done what the Buddha taught, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Ekachattiya Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Ekachattiya Thera is finished. 413. Tinasulakachadaniya. At that time I contemplated birth and decrepitude and death. Going out from the home alone, I went forth into homelessness. In the course of wandering I came to the banks of a river. There on the riverbank I saw a piece of earth in all fullness, fashioning a hermitage there. I'm living in the hermitage. My walkway is well constructed, housing flocks of various birds. Trustingly they come up to me and sing their lovely songs to me, delighting there along with them. I'm living in the hermitage. Near that hermitage of mine were wild beasts of 4 different kinds, who came out of their forest haunts and roared for me like the thunder. When those wild beasts were making sounds, great mirth was then produced in me. While searching for those animals, I saw the leader of the world. Then having seen the God of gods, Tissa, chief leader of the world, happy and with a happy heart, I offered ironwood pollen. I praised the leader of the world, like the sun when it is rising, like a regal sal tree in bloom, shining forth like the morning star. Omniscient one, with your knowledge, you light up this world with its gods. After having made you happy, they're liberated from rebirth. Omniscient one, through not seeing, the Buddhas who see everything, those obstructed by lust and hate, descend into Avicii hell, coming to take a look at you. Omniscient one, O world leader, they are freed from all existence and realize the deathless state. When the Buddhas, the Eiffel ones, the light bringers are arising, they display the light of the truth, burning up all the defilements. After praising the Sambuddha, Tissa, chief leader of the world, happy and with a happy heart, I offered Arab jasmine blooms. Discerning what I was thinking, Tissa, chief leader of the world, sitting down there on his own seat, spoke these verses about me then. He who covered me with flowers, feeling well pleased by his own hands, I shall relate details of him. All of you listen to my words. 25 times he's going to exercise rule over the gods, and 75 times he'll be a king who turns the wheel of law, and there will be much local rule, innumerable by counting, as a result of his karma, of doing puja with flowers. When this person has bathed his head, if he wishes for a flower, then bound up with his good karma, it will appear in front of him. Whatever's wished for through desires, that all is going to appear. Having fulfilled his intentions, he'll reach nirvana, undefiled. The 18th recitation portion. Having burnt up the defilements, attentive and intelligent, sitting down on a single seat, he will attain arahantship. Walking back and forth, lying down, sitting down or else standing up, remembering the best Buddha. I am living all of the time. There's no deficiency for me. In robes and food that I beg for, in requisites and bed and seat. That's the fruit of Buddha puja. Now deathlessness has been attained, the unsurpassed great state of peace. Knowing well all the defilements, I am living without constraint. In the 92 eons since I did puja to the Buddha, I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of Buddha puja. My defilements are now burnt up. All new existence is destroyed. Like elephants with broken chains, I am living without constraint. Being in best Buddha's presence was a very good thing for me. The 3 knowledges are attained. I have done what the Buddha taught, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Tinasulakachadaniya Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Tinasulakachadaniya Thera is finished. For 14. Madhumansadayaka. In the city Bhaddāli, I was a pork seller back then. Having cooked the spleen and lungs, I poured honey over that meat. Having gone to a gathering, I took hold of a single bowl. Filling up that bowl with meat, I gave it to the monk's assembly. The monk there who was most senior then assigned the merit to me. Due to filling this bowl with meat, he will receive great happiness. Receiving the 2 attainments, incited by his wholesome roots, during his last going around, he will destroy the defilements. Bringing pleasure to my heart there, I then went to Tvatisa, eating as well as drinking there. I do receive great happiness. In a pavilion or tree root, recalling previous karma, a downpour of both food and drink is raining on me all the time. This is the final time for me. My last rebirth is proceeding. Even here both food and drink are raining on me all of the time. Because of having given meat, transmigrating in existence, knowing well all the defilements, I am living without constraint. In the 91 eons since I gave that offering back then, I've come to know no bad rebirth. That is the fruit of giving meat. My defilements are now burnt up. All new existence is destroyed. Like elephants with broken chains, I am living without constraint. Being in best Buddha's presence was a very good thing for me. The 3 knowledges are attained. I have done what the Buddha taught, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Madhumansadayaka Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Madhumansadayaka Thera is finished. For 15. Nagapallavaka. In the city Bhaddāli, I lived in the royal garden. At that time, near my hermitage, the leader of the world sat down. Taking a sprout of ironwood, I offered it to the Buddha. Happy, with pleasure in my heart, I saluted the well-gone one. In the 91 eons since I offered that sprout at that time, I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of Buddha puja. My defilements are now burnt up. All new existence is destroyed. Like elephants with broken chains, I am living without constraint. Being in best Buddha's presence was a very good thing for me. The three knowledges are attained. I have done what the Buddha taught, the four analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Nagapallavaka Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Nagapallavaka Thera is finished. For 16. Ekadiya. When the well-gone one passed away, Siddhartha, leader of the world, all the gods and human beings, are worshipping the best biped. And when a shrine had been set up for Siddhartha, the world leader, they're worshipping the teacher's shrine as vigorously as each could. In the shrine's vicinity I lit a lamp for the Buddha. I kept my lamp lit the whole night until the sun rose the next day. Due to that karma done very well, with intention and firm resolve, discarding my human body, I went to Tvatisa then. There my well-constructed mansion was known by the name Single Lamp. 100,000 lamps always are lit for me in the mansion. Like the sun when it is rising, my body is always shining. There is light for me all the time, through all the light of my body, right through walls, also right through rocks, and passing over mountain tops. I am seeing with my own eyes, even 100 leagues distant, and 77 times I delighted in the world of gods, and 31 different times I exercised divine rule there, and then 28 times I was a king who turns the wheel of law. There was also much local rule, innumerable by counting, falling from the world of the gods. I was born in a mother's womb. Even inside my mother's womb, one of my eyes remains open. I went forth into homelessness when I was only 4 years old. When 8 months still had not elapsed, I attained my arahantship. I purified my divine eye. All new existence is destroyed. Every defilement is cut off. That's the fruit of a single lamp. Right through walls, also right through rocks, I am seeing passing over, even entire mountain tops. That's the fruit of a single lamp. Uneven spots are even for me. Darkness is not ever known. I don't see anything darkly. That's the fruit of a single lamp. In the 94 eons since I gave Buddha a lamp back then, I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of a single lamp. My defilements are now burnt up. All new existence is destroyed. Like elephants with broken chains, I am living without constraint. Being in best Buddha's presence was a very good thing for me. The 3 knowledges are attained. I have done what the Buddha taught, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Ekadiya Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Ekadiya Thera is finished. For 17. Ucchangapupphiya. In the city Bandamati, I was a gardener back then. Having filled my lap with flowers, I went to the bazaar with them. The Buddha in that period, honored by the monks' assembly, the world leader was going by, through his enormous majesty. Having seen the lamp of the world, the passy crosser of the world, taking a flower from my lap, I offered it to best Buddha. In the 91 eons since I offered a flower back then, I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of Buddha Puja. My defilements are now burnt up. All new existence is destroyed. Like elephants with broken chains, I am living without constraint. Being in best Buddha's presence was a very good thing for me. The 3 knowledges are attained. I have done what the Buddha taught, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Ucchangapupphiya Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Ucchangapupphiya Thera is finished. (418). Yagudayaka. Taking someone unknown to me, I went to a village back then. Seeing a very full river, I approached a monastery. Forest dwellers punctilious, meditators, clad in coarse robes, wise lovers of seclusion were living in that monastery. Their destinies had been cut off. Well-liberated, neutral ones, they did not go begging for alms. If the river obstructed them, happy with pleasure in my heart, awestruck, with hands pressed together, taking some rice grain that I made a gruel donation then, giving gruel to those monks 5 times, feeling well pleased by my own hands, satisfied with my own karma. I went to Tvetisa then. A mansion made of gems was born. For me in the group of 30. I joyed with a group of women, in that superb mansion of mine. 33 times the Lord of Gods. I exercised divine rule there. 30 times a wheel-turning king. I exercised overlordship. There was also much local rule, innumerable by counting. In the world of gods or humans, I always enjoyed great fame. When my last rebirth was attained, I went forth into homelessness. As soon as my hair was cut off, I realized complete success. Due to decay, due to old age, contemplating this corpse of mine, before the training rules were taught, I attained my arahantship. Well given was my superb gift. My trade was very well applied. Because of that very gruel gift, I've attained the unshaking state. I have no experience of sorrow and wailing and illness, nor distress that torments the mind. That is the fruit of giving gruel. Oh, that gruel was very well spent. Giving the monks assembly gruel, in the unsurpassed merit field. I enjoy these 5 good results. I don't get ill. I'm beautiful. The teaching quickly is observed. I receive lots of food and drink, and my long lifespan is the 5th. Whoever struck by awe would give gruel to the assembly of monks. That wise person would also get these 5 most welcome benefits. What should be done has all been done. I have put an end to rebirths. All defilements are exhausted. Now there will be no more rebirth. I am wandering from village to village, city to city, extolling him, the Sambuddha, and Buddha's virtuous teaching. In the 30,000 eons, since I gave that gift at that time, I've come to know no bad rebirth. That is the fruit of giving gruel. My defilements are now burnt up. All new existence is destroyed. Like elephants with broken chains, I am living without constraint. Being in best Buddha's presence was a very good thing for me. The 3 knowledges are attained. I have done what the Buddha taught, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Yagudayaka Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Yagudayaka Thera is finished. For 19. Pathodanadayaka. Back then I traveled the forest, doing regular forest work. Taking half a pint of cooked rice, I went to work in the forest. There I saw him, the Sambuddha, the self become unconquered one, gone out from the forest for alms. Having seen him, my heart was pleased. I'm bound to working for others, and no merit exists for me. I have this half pint of cooked rice. I will feed it to the great sage. Taking that half pint of rice, I gave it to the self become one. While I meditated on him, the sage then consumed that cooked rice. Due to that karma done very well, with intention and firm resolve, discarding my human body, I went to Tvetisa then. 36 times the Lord of Gods. I exercised divine rule there. 33 times I was a king who turns the wheel of law. There was also much local rule, innumerable by counting. I'm always happy and famous, the fruit of half a pint of rice, transmigrating from birth to birth. I receive wealth without limit. I have no lack of possessions, the fruit of half a pint of rice. Possessions come to be for me, resembling a river stream. I cannot even measure them, the fruit of half a pint of rice. People say, eat this, enjoy this, lit down to sleep in this good bed. Due to that I'm always happy, the fruit of half a pint of rice. in the 94 eons since. I gave him that gift at that time. I've come to know no bad rebirth, the fruit of half a pint of rice. My defilements are now burnt up. All new existence is destroyed. Like elephants with broken chains, I am living without constraint. Being in best Buddha's presence was a very good thing for me. The three knowledges are attained. I have done what the Buddha taught, the four analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Pathodanadayaka Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Pathodanadayaka Thera is finished. For 20. Manacadayaka. When Siddhartha reached nirvana, compassionate one, world leader, and spread throughout the entire world, gods and men were honoring him. I was a low-born person there, a maker of long chairs and stools. I earn my living through that work, and through it I feed my children. Having made a well-made long chair, feeling well pleased by my own hands, approaching by myself, I then gave it to the monks' assembly. Due to that karma done very well, with intention and firm resolve, discarding my human body, I went to Tvatisa then, being gone to the world of gods. I joy in the group of 30, very expensive beds come to be according to my wishes, 50 times the Lord of the gods. I exercised divine rule there, and 80 times I was a king who turns the wheel of law. There was also much local rule, innumerable by counting. I'm always happy and famous. That's the fruit of giving a bed. If falling from the world of gods, I come into the human state, very costly, excellent beds come to be for me by themselves. This is the final time for me. My last rebirth is proceeding. Even now, when it's time to lie down, a bed is waiting for me. In the 94 eons since, I gave him that gift at that time. I've come to know no bad rebirth. That's the fruit of giving a bed. My defilements are now burnt up. All new existence is destroyed. Like elephants with broken chains, I am living without constraint. Being in best Buddha's presence was a very good thing for me. The 3 knowledges are attained. I have done what the Buddha taught, the 4 analytical modes, and these 8 deliverances, 6 special knowledges mastered. I have done what the Buddha taught. Thus indeed Venerable Manacadayaka Thera spoke these verses. The legend of Manacadayaka Thera is finished. The summary: Bhaddali and Ekachattiya, Tyaśla and Masada, Nagapallavaka, Daipai, Yagudayaka, Pathodanadayaka, Manacadayaka. The verses that are counted here number 200 verses and 1 verse more than those 200. The Bhaddali chapter, the 42nd.